Hey guys, my name is Ryan.
And my name is Miska.
Welcome to Overwatch Central. So in the past you've seen us make videos on various heroes and roles that we tend to call the problem with. This video has a similar tone to it, but it will be a bit more similar to how we talked about Mercy sort of falling out of the meta a few months back around Gamescom. This time it's Zarya in the spotlight, a hero that used to have a very stable spot in the meta. And just recently Zarya has received a few changes and overall nerfed from the Zarya we knew and loved that was great in competitive ladder and pro play. But what exactly happened? How do these changes actually affect Zarya? And what will happen to her in Season 3? These are all questions we'll be answering in today's video, starting with Zarya's history in the game and its meta. Before we begin though, we're really interested to seeing how a video like this does, so feel free to drop a like if you're enjoying this video, and if you have any suggestions for improvements or any certain heroes that you want us to discuss at length, then please let us know in the comments. But anyway, let's get straight on with it.
Zarya has since day one of closed beta been a very interesting hero in a very unique spot. Right at the start she seemed like a difficult hero to most, but she was quickly picked up more and more and has stayed in roughly the same spot in the meta since about February earlier this year, up until recently that is. The Graviton Surge has always been the one ultimate that's been easy to combine with a lot of other ultimates and have set up some of the biggest wombo combos in Overwatch. She's always been considered to be a bit of an off tank, and in Season 2 there were a lot of people picking up Zarya more and more as her damage and versatility was simply too good to be ignored. A big PTR balance patch hit though just before BlizzCon and revealed a change to Zarya, reducing her weapon charge for one shield from 50% to 40%. In this same update there was also a change to her primary fire, the particle cannon's beam. But whilst she was nerfed according to the patch notes, Blizzard still sort of fixed her beam, which allowed for tracking to be more precise and actually deal more damage. It didn't seem like that bad of a time to be a Zarya player, but with the following week's PTR patch, including the new Symmetra, Zarya was nerfed even further. Her bubble shields will now not get double charge from a Reinhardt Fire Strike or abilities with similar properties, passing through the front and back of the bubble. Before, you could pop a Zarya shield on yourself and an ally, have a Fire Strike pass through both and get 100% weapon charge from it. After these couple nerfs, you only get 40% charge from the same thing. Is this too big of a nerf to the hero, or does it not really matter?
So the main thing for Zarya has always been her great damage output combined with the fantastic combo potential of her Graviton Surge ultimate. The problem with these latest nerfs is getting that weapon charge, especially the initial charge at the start of a game, as it will be a lot slower than before. This seemed like a fairly big nerf in theory, but the question now stands that will it exclude Zarya from the meta entirely or not, and will she be as viable as she once was? Her Graviton Surge is still unchanged and will continue making big plays from time to time, but overall Zarya will definitely take a hit due to these nerfs. The main thing about these changes is that it makes Zarya a bit slower and nerfs the hero as a whole. All of Zarya's kit was taken down a peg since her shields is pretty much all she has in terms of abilities. So will she be useless from now on? Well, that's a difficult question to answer, but with a quick look at recent pro level play and also looking at our own off-season matches, we think we have an answer at least.
So for Season 3 there are a few things you need to keep in mind for Zarya. D.Va has been buffed and will be a bit harder for Zarya to take down now. Before it wasn't too difficult to deal with or at least scare off a D.Va as Zarya, as your primary fire couldn't be defense matrixed, but now you really have to avoid her, to be honest, if you're not on high charge already. As of right now though, it does look like tanks in Season 3 will be in a very strong spot. And even though Zarya has been nerfed, she will most likely still be more than viable in Season 3. Just like Reinhardt, Zarya does a job that no one else can really do. Even if Zarya becomes a strictly off-meta hero, she'll still be viable to some degree, and maybe even still a solid pick for those players that can play her very well already. On top of all this though, do you remember the latest nerf we talked about? The one changing the double charge and things hitting the front and back of the shield at once? Well, no attacks can do damage to Zarya's shield twice anymore. What does this mean though? Well, this also means that Genji can't kill Zarya's bubble in one slash with the sword anymore. This is because Genji used to deal 120 damage to both the front and the back of the shield. Now that he has to slash twice, Genji is slightly nerfed and Zarya slightly buffed. So overall, was Zarya actually nerfed that badly? The answer is probably no. She wasn't really. Sure, it'll take an extra 10 to 20 seconds to get your snowball properly started and rolling, and the hero will require more skill to be played well. But she is far from nerfed out of the meta entirely. And even if she does become an off-meta hero, that hasn't stopped Pharah mains from playing Pharah in the past, now has it?
Our conclusion is essentially that Zarya is fairly likely to be an off-meta hero in this upcoming patch, but far from a worthless pick. She's even picked up in tournament play from time to time still, and she'll still be useful in competitive play for sure if you can play her pretty well. If your opinion differs to ours, then don't hesitate to comment about it and let us know. We always love to hear what you guys are thinking, so comment is a great way to do that. Miska is, of course, Zarya main, the hero that he played most in competitive Season 2, so he's obviously hoping that one of his favourite heroes stays relevant. But for me, we have to look at the bigger picture. Tanks are in a really good spot right now where all of them are as viable as one another. She takes a big hit and she's not going to be as useful, but then again so is Reinhardt. Roadhog comes into the play a bit more. D.Va's very strong and Winston is just Winston. So it's sad to see a hero sort of dip out a little bit, but that's a good thing for the game as a whole. All of the tanks are in pretty good position right now, so we should probably be focusing more on that. But anyway, that's it for now. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe for more Overwatch content if you haven't already, and until next time, take care, and we'll see you then.